Hey everyone, Mia here. Let's take a look at a large sensor camcorder that's capable of producing pro-level still images too, the Sony NEX-EA50UH. Sony's NEX-EA50UH is the first in the EA camcorder series. It has a large APS-C sized Exmor CMOS sensor that shoots sharp 1080p video at 60 frames per second and pro-quality 16 megapixel still images as well. That's a big sensor, and it means your video and photos will have lots of detail. With its marriage of camcorder form factor and DSLR functionality, the EA50UH stands as the latest of Sony's recent large sensor video cameras. And this camera has a few interesting features that are really unique in this market. The EA50UH is a nice choice for cinematic event photography, largely because of its ability to change lenses, shoot 1080p at several different frame rates, including 24 frames per second, and its large sensor size, which will really count when you look to capture video with a shallow depth of field. For videographers in Europe and elsewhere, be assured that this is a WorldCam model that does shoot at 50 and 25 frames per second. Right out of the box, you may notice that the colors are a little contrasty, so take some time to go into your picture profile and tweak a few settings to get it just right for you. While this is a very cinematic camera, it's laid out with videographers in mind. ENG camera users will love the weight of the EA50UH. It feels solid in your hands, but also gives your arms and back a break. Plus, how cool is this? A pull-out shoulder pad gives this camera the ergonomics to place it right in your comfort zone. It's a great feature for a long day of handheld video. DSLR users who are used to attaching accessories to see the LCD clearly will dig the offset LCD monitor. That's because the monitor can convert to a viewfinder with the included eyepiece. Plus, everything you need for natural sound is already on board, but I'll get to that later. The real showstopper for both the ENG and DSLR shooters is the Servo Zoom lens. This camera comes with an 18 to 200 millimeter f3.5 to 6.3 zoom lens, and it's Sony's very first E-mount lens with Servo Zoom. Now you should know that the zoom is slow, even at the high speed, and it's not quite as smooth as what you'll find on an expensive professional broadcast video camera. But it's rare for video cameras at this price range and definitely usable. With a prime lens, that zoom rocker will provide you with lossless digital zoom. Now I know a lot of videographers hear digital zoom and think it'll degrade the quality of the image, but here's how it works. The camera sensor is way bigger than what's required for full HD video. And when the camera uses the 2x zoom magnification, it actually crops the sensor size in real time. So a 50 millimeter prime lens becomes a 50 to 100 millimeter zoom with a continuous aperture. There's no quality lost in the actual image itself. This is an extremely useful feature. Sony allows the zoom rocker to be assigned to either the digital zoom or the servo by the operator. Now to something that really bothered me about the EA50UH. The rolling shutter. If you're shooting video and decide to pan the camera at any speed other than slow, a noticeable jelloing effect happens to your footage. Straight lines start to bend, and it's something that you have to decide whether you can live with or not. One other negative I spotted in reviewing the footage from this Sony camcorder is the moire. For a newer camera, I didn't expect to see quite as much of it as I did. The rolling shutter and the moire are two setbacks that you might expect with a DSLR, but not a Sony video camera. However, let me emphasize that while these problems are evident, at this price point, they're not deal breakers for me with this camera. It has a well thought out feature set and shoots beautiful video. You just have to be mindful of the sticky points when you take it into the field. The camcorder has all the manual controls that most pro videographers will need, like gain, ISO, and shutter speed. It's also got XLR inputs for professional audio and an onboard shotgun mic, as well as a stereo mic built in. You'll find full audio controls along with zebra, peaking, and white balance available at your fingertips. Another special thing about this camera is the dedicated shutter release button with a mechanical shutter in photo mode. And there's even a hot shoe for use with traditional flashes. So if you're an event videographer or journalist and you need to get stills and video, this camera can make it happen. Now, if you're wondering about still image quality, know that you'll get high-resolution DSLR quality images that are 16 megapixels. This is a professional video camera that comes with many of the perks of a DSLR. The hot shoe is located right up on the front of this top handle, and on the back of that handle, you'll find a place to mount an additional accessory shoe. That way you can add an LED light or other accessory. The low light performance on this camera is good, but don't expect the same performance in low light as, say, an FS100. However, if you are upgrading from a Handycam or a 1/4-inch sensor, then you will notice a big improvement in the level of noise. I wouldn't say this camcorder is noise-free, but at this price point, again, I was pleasantly surprised with its low light performance. The camera and Servo Zoom lens combo is light, but a little front heavy. So if you're using it on a tripod, I can't stress how important it is to get yourself a good, sturdy video tripod and fluid head if you don't already have one. The EA50UH takes both SD and Sony memory stick memory cards, but it has just one card slot. So if you're shooting for several hours, you might want to use the FMU connection on the back for Sony's optional HXR FMU 128 flash memory unit. Now this way you won't have to worry about filling up and dumping the card while you work. It can also be used for a backup. Video from the camera is shot in the friendly AVCHD format up to 28 megabits per second. Professional broadcast quality video is typically captured at 50 megabits per second, at least, but for most event clients, this will be plenty good enough. However, if you do notice a decrease in image quality while zooming, or if you have a lot of moving subjects in the frame, it's probably because of the low bitrate and not the lens or the zoom. If broadcast quality is important to you, you always have the option for high-quality uncompressed output via the HDMI port. That can be recorded through an external recording device and encoded to whatever bitrate you'd like. The camera has an internal GPS. This is great if you need to head back to a location or just remember where you were. And a remote control will give you the option to record or zoom without even touching the camera itself. Convenient for videographers, but essential for photographers looking to capture a super sharp image by eliminating any camera shake. The lens that comes with this camera has optical steady shot. And when the EA50UH is paired with a lens that has the steady shot option, you will see the feature pop up on your menus. Overall, the Sony NEX-EA50UH is a very promising camera. It's got all the features a videographer loves and the options a photographer needs. The only drawbacks are that rolling shutter for video and the moire. I'm Mia McCormick. Thanks for watching.
For more information, please visit us online, give us a call, or stop by our New York City Superstore. You can also connect with us on the web.